All right, so let's see if this AI bubble is going to pop or not. Hey guys, Uncle Steph here. So, will the AI bubble pop in 2026? Short answer is kind of. It's already popping a little bit. Some reality is hitting the AI world. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some articles on the AIs, and we're going to see what the situation is. We are ready. We have our coffee. Let's go. So I got some relevant articles and posts. So this is by this guy, I don't know who he is, on X. He writes, Gemini 3.0 just refactored my entire code base in one call, 25 tool invocations, 3,000 plus lines, new lines, 12 brand new files. It modularized everything, broke up monoliths, cleaned up spaghetti. None of it worked, but boy, was it beautiful. There's a lesson in that I'll get into in a second. Okay, how do I get out of here? Come on. Next one, here we go. Another guy, Kitzy. Amazes me how many people actually love coding. LLMs made me realize I didn't really care for coding. I liked inventing new solutions. I liked inventing solutions to my problems, and code was just a means to an end. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you have to understand when you're actually writing software, you're creating solutions. Code, the writing of the code is just one element of a process. Yeah, I've done a fancy diagram in the previous videos where I showed you the distribution of work within the context of software development. Coding is this part. It's not huge. It's, you think it is. If you're a noob, it seems like it's everything, but it's not. There's so many other aspects about it. So when you get more advanced, when you become more advanced in software development, when you actually start developing lots of real projects, you realize quickly enough that the languages and all the technologies involved are interchangeable, replaceable, and contextually prevalent or contextually important. So what does that mean? That means that JavaScript may be super important in one search circumstance, and Swift, of a programming language, Swift, will be very important in another context. Contextually relevant technology is a key. So when I make fun of Ruby, I'm not actually making fun of Ruby, although it should be made fun of. What I'm actually making fun of is people who think that one programming language is superior to the other. It's all context. So I got a piece here from New Stack. Let me get back to this thing. Hold on. All right, the New Stack. I don't know anything about these guys. I just found this, but I give them the proper attribution. So it says AI code doesn't survive in production. Here's why. We can now produce new lines of code at incredible speeds, but most of that code fails in production. How can we solve this? I see a demo every day that looks something like this. A single prompt generates a complete application, a few lines of natural language, and ta-da, a polished product emerges. Yet despite viral trends and a confusing fact endures. We aren't seeing an increase in shipped products or the pace of innovation we expected. A vice president at Google, no less, was recently quoted saying, people would be shocked if they knew how little code from LLMs actually make it into production, despite impressive demos and billions in funding. There's a massive gap between AI-generated prototypes and production-ready systems, but why? The truth lies in these three fundamental challenges. So let's see what they are. Greenfield versus existing tech stacks. AI excels at unconstrained prototyping, but struggles to integrate with existing systems. Beyond that, operating in production environments imposes hard limits that turn prototypes brittle. This is actually very common in all code generation tools that I've seen over the decades. I've been doing this since '94 professionally. Code generating tools are very good within their lane. As long as you work within the lane, you're fine. As soon as you go outside that lane, you got problems. AI, as it turns out, is a very, very, very powerful code generating tool that has the same limitations as the others. Number two, the Dory problem. AI struggles to debug its own code because it lacks persistent understanding. AI does not understand. AI has no logical capability whatsoever. If you know anything about modern psychology, our brains have system 1, system 2, as defined by Kahneman, won a Nobel Prize. System 1 is our primitive brain. It works by association. That's what AI can do. System 2, which is our brand new brain, relatively speaking, it has the capacity for logic, but we as humans don't use it too often because it's very expensive to think logically, so we use a lot of association to navigate life. AI doesn't have the capacity for logic yet, as far as I can tell, but it's good at association, and that can get you a long way, but as they said here, number two, the Dory problem, AI struggles to debug its own code because it lacks persistent understanding. It doesn't have understanding. It just knows probability. It can't learn from past mistakes because it can't, or have enough context to troubleshoot systems. And number three, inconsistent tool maturity. While AI code generation tools are evolving rapidly, deployment, maintenance, code review, quality assurance, security, and customer support functions still operate at pre-AI velocities. So, yeah. All right. I got to go do my call, and I'll get back, and we'll finish up this little discussion. All right, I'm back. I just did my little meeting. So right at the bottom here, it says greenfield versus existing tech stacks right here. Large language models, LLMs, can draft new microservices. You can go look it up at the new stack. I'm sure you can find the article. What is the bottom line here? Let me just get rid of this. See ya. So the bottom line is AI, as I've been saying for years, number one, it's not replacing developers. That hype is going away. Remember, whenever a new technology comes out, the people who are behind the new technologies, they're incentivized to hype it up, right? They're going to hype you up as much as possible because we as humans, our brains, we're not excited about 15, 20% improvement. That doesn't excite you, even though in practice, that's huge in terms of productivity gains. But if they came out and said, hey, you use AI, you're going to be 20% more productive, people would be going, they wouldn't be impressed by that. So they have to come up with these crazy assertions about how unbelievable it's going to be. So as I said, when it first came out, it wasn't going to replace developers. It was going to be a new tool in the tool set. Now, if you don't believe me, but this is just a typical just a typical developer or technology hype cycle, let me give you some recent examples. So Web 3.0. Remember Web 3.0? NFTs, crypto. Everybody said at the time, it's going to change the world. It's going to change the world. And Web 3 was going to be everything that you'd ever want in life. And what happened? We saw what happened. It performed as I said it would perform. It became a marginal tool set. I'm not trashing crypto. I'm not trashing it at all, but it became a marginal tool set, meaning it's used, but it's very, very niche, very, very specialized. So for every person that needs some crypto development, I guess maybe the rug pullers or something, you're going to need 10,000 WordPress sites, That's it. Again, I'm not like this big WordPress pumper and fan. It's just so prevalent because so many small businesses use it. And it's a great first set of projects or first technology to jump into to get your first jobs, right? Because remember, a big part about being a developer is being able to communicate with people, being able to extract requirements, to deliver things on time, to solve problems. A big part of being a software developer is that you're a problem solver. So yeah, AI, AI is much bigger than crypto, by the way. So crypto Web 3.0, when people were telling me how it was the bee's knees and the whole world was going to change because of crypto, I was like, no, it won't. I was one of the people, it's not going to. It's going to have its very niche application. Crypto is a type of database. Fantastic. I think SQL-based databases, relational databases, are more important than crypto, personally. Anyway, so remember the hype cycle. Just remember how it was going to replace the world and everybody was going to change, and but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It's still out there, but it's like this is how important crypto is in the game. AI, though, don't fool yourself. AI is much bigger than crypto, but it's not this world-changing panacea. It's not, I can give you other examples of technology where we were told that it was going to be the change of the entire world, and that was self-driving cars. Remember when they first came out? Now, Elon Musk is an engineer, and without a doubt, forget about the politics of it. He's a really great engineer. If you deny that, you're a little crazy. You can hate somebody's politics and acknowledge their skill, right? That's something I learned in combat sports. You have your opponent, but you're crazy to disregard their ability, because then you put yourself in a bad situation. You have to acknowledge even your opponents, especially your opponent's strengths, because otherwise you give yourself a disadvantage there. Anyway, so Elon Musk, he is, as much as he is an engineer, he is very good at marketing. He really understands the primitive brain. And so he hypes things up to get attraction. So he talked about buying a Tesla about 7 years ago, and then the Tesla would do, taxi calls, would be able to go out there and make money for you and pay for itself with its self-driving capability. That never turned out, right? It's like 7, 8 years later. Now, don't get me wrong. The Tesla self-driving is unbelievable. Like, I have a self-driving GV70, which is a Genesis GV70. On the highway, it takes care of maybe 90%, 98% of the driving on the highway. Off of the highway, you have to take over for sure. Now, Tesla full self-driving, even the name, they got sued for that apparently, full self-driving. It was considered misleading. Anyway, so the full self-driving technology, it's the best in the game. But only recently, as far as I understand, can it make really full self-drive. This is just after 7, 8 years, maybe 10 years now, I forget, I lost track. I'm sure somebody can correct me. The point is, when that technology came out, there was a big panic a few years ago about all the trucker jobs. They're all disappearing, bro, they're all disappearing. And now we have a shortage of truckers, right? Anyway, there you go. That's what we're seeing with the web thing. The bubble is bursting. It's deflating. It doesn't mean it's going away. It just means that reality is setting in. I predict, and this is just a prediction that I'm pulling out of based on my experience, I think in the end, overall, we'll see like a 20% productivity gain over the next 5 years across industries with AI. Now, I have limited experience with AI, but I play with the major models, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok. I haven't used Anthropic, though. That's the only one I haven't used. And I can say that they can be very productive. Now, you as a developer in 2026, going into 2026 and forward, you have to know the AI tools, just like you as a developer have to know the key programming languages. You have to understand what a database is, understand the basics of relational databases, so on and so forth. AI is crucial that you understand it. Again, because you want those productivity boosts. So you can use AI to develop apps in two ways. Number one, you can use it to augment traditional development. Use it to write boilerplate code. Use it to help you debug. But you have to know what you're doing. So I was working on a project recently. One of my old apps, I mentioned this in a previous video. One of the old apps, web app, PHP-based forum app. And not mine, but I license it, but it's PHP, so I have a lot of access to everything. It started throwing these errors. And so this is where AI took 2 hours of work and made it into 5-10 minutes. Fantastic, right? How did I do it? Well, I had an error. So I got the logs, the server logs, and I got the error, and I threw it into ChatGPT. I said, "Here's the error. Here's the logs. This is the forum software. This is the vendor." And then I gave it this information and was able to pull out what the error specifically was, and it gave me suggestions in terms of how to resolve it. Although I had guessed that it was some configuration issue, and GPT was able to tell me, okay, you got a config file here, and you got one over here. Again, instead of me having to go to Stack Overflow or go to the support forums for the vendor to get this information, dig through crap, the AI was able to get me the answers pretty darn quick, which was fantastic. So that's where it's useful, right? Use AI to create fine-grained things. Don't try to use it to create complete apps. It may be able to prototype something simple or even medium complexity, but try to update it, you're done. That's what people are saying. You have to use it within a very confined context. For example, AI, I need to write an inner join because I need to access these database tables. Here's a CSV file with the breakdown of the tables. I need to grab this and this data. I think we have to use an inner join or an outer join. Please write the SQL. That's where it can save you headaches, because writing that SQL, inner outer joins, a real pain in the ass. I always have trouble with them personally. So I don't know about you guys. Maybe you're better than me. Another thing where AI could come in handy, I haven't used it, but I would imagine would be good at this, is writing complex regex, for lack of better terms, we'll call them algorithms or formulas or recipes. We'll call them recipes. Writing complex regex, regular expression recipes, which regular expression, if you don't know what it is a sub-language, a meta-language that all the major languages have: Java, JavaScript, PHP, Python. They all have regex implementations. And regex is short for regular expressions, and it is the most sophisticated text parsing tool in the game. Forget about index of, that's a method in function in JavaScript and so on. But it's so powerful. But it's really, really archaic. It's really cryptic in all the code that you have to write. And at one point, I got pretty good at regex, decently good at regex, because I was writing a lot of it. But right now, I forget everything. That's where AI could come in handy. Anyway, so the way to use AI is to use it in very fine-grained applications. Use it when you're augmenting traditional development. I wouldn't use it to prototype entire apps. It might get away with some of that, but the safest way is to use it as I did, to use it to do very particular things. You can use it to take care of a lot of work that's really boring anyway. So like reading log files from a server. The other way to use AI, of course, is to create AI-first applications, where most of the engineering, if you will, is via prompting. That means you're writing all kinds of prompts. Like I did that with my fitness AI, where it's all prompting, and it took me 3.5 months to get it to the point where I was comfortable with it. But you have to have good design thinking skills, not design in terms of visual design, but in terms of architectural design. And you have to be very specific with the LLMs, so they don't go off on these hallucinatory, I don't know if that's a word, but these hallucinations, they don't go off on these tangents. So you have to understand how to work with the large language models, to refine them, in the case of a GPT, to create a custom GPT. Understand how you can use AI models to create agents where you're stacking models. I've talked about this in other videos. That's why I've included a whole module in my mentoring program just on working with AIs in those two different ways. So anyway, to conclude, AI is not going anywhere, but the hype bubble is deflating. We're starting to understand how it can be really applied. A lot of companies are not seeing, they're talking about it more and more and more. They're not seeing any productivity gains using AI. I think a big reason is that they're using AI in an incorrect way. You have to use it in a very very precise way, right? And if you do that, you're going to find great use of AI. I think it will make coding, I think, more fun. There's no fun reading log files, right? That's not fun. There's no fun reading log files and debugging apps. If it could speed that up, it's fantastic. One person out there said AI is basically just a new Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow, if you're not aware, is a site that was the go-to place to get answers to coding problems. And then Google would snarf it, and then you'd use Google and always go to Stack Overflow. But prior to that, people would go to forums. Like my old Killer Sites forum back in the day was a very popular forum for web designers, front-end type of Q&A and so forth. So then it migrated to Stack Overflow and Google. Now it's AI. At the end of the day, you still have to be a developer. You still have to know what you're doing to effectively use AI. You're just going to be faster at it. That's all. Hey, I'm Uncle Steph. I teach people in the ways of software development, in the business of it, in the jobs of it. I've been doing this since 1994. That's when I first started writing. I wrote my first website. Anyway, there you go. If you have any questions about any of these subjects or anything else, just put them in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I have the longest fingers in the game. That's from years and years of programming. What happens is your fingers stretch out, and next thing you know, you have long fingers like this. Sometimes people can appreciate these long fingers, and sometimes they don't. Thanks for watching. Cheers. And as they say in Quebec, bon café.